keep your behavior, he will check you right into the wall. And I'm hoping that's Fort and Ball later in the show. More on that coming up.
Easy.
But what a game we had last night between the Panthers and Oilers. Here's where you knew it was going to get wacky.
Say no more.
Up 2-0. Mark, right out of the gate here, when Lundell scores this goal, it's 3-0. You're thinking this thing's over.
Well, you're thinking it's going to be over because Edmonton could not stay out of the penalty box. And, of course, Florida's power play right now is hot as ever. Didn't look good for the Oilers after the first period.
Worth pointing out, home teams in the Stanley Cup, 158-1 when leading by 3+ goals. Here comes the Oilers. They make a change in the goal, probably a good move. Right here, Picard, he comes up huge immediately.
Yeah, this is the save of the game. This actually put Edmonton back on. It's 3-1 at this time. Lundell scores there. It's 4-1. The game is over. Huge save coming in cold. What a performance he came back with.
So later in the game, 3-1, Oilers in the zone. Nurse an incredible shot on Sergei Bobrovsky. Now they're back in it. Now it's 3-2.
Yeah, I didn't like this goal on Bobrovsky. He's been unbelievable the whole playoffs, and certainly in this series here. This was one over his shoulder he would like to have back.
So under 5 minutes to go, here's where it gets interesting. So now we go and we tie it at 3 apiece.
Yeah, we're thinking that, it's going to go into overtime, and sure enough it does. Nobody would have thought that Edmonton was going to come back in this game, but sure enough, here they are, going up 4-3.
I mean, 3-0 again. We're talking about how it's over 3-2. You minimize the lead. Now we're tied at 3 apiece. 6.5 minutes left. Same score. Oilers force a turnover. Jake Walmer, one-timer.
Well, a classic, Wallman, but here's the tying goal late in the game, but a classic goal from the Florida Panthers, heavy on the forecheck, take it off, and Reinhart, sure enough, makes no mistake.
So Wallman takes the lead. Taylor can't believe it. 25 seconds left. Same score. Panthers an empty net extra tackle.
Well, and it's just, for me, Florida is just such a heavy team on the forecheck there, and Bennett's been probably one of the best players, if not the best player in these finals so far. Hits the crossbar, and sure enough,
the long change. Breaking free is Draisaitl to the net. Score! Leon Draisaitl has tied the series in overtime.
That's the Oilers radio call. And what a game for the ages in a Stanley Cup final, but that has been nothing short of miraculous. 5-2 for the Oilers. With the win, the Oilers become the second team with a 3-goal comeback win on the road to the Cup final, joining the 1919 Canadiens. Prior to last night, home teams in the Stanley Cup final who had at least 3-goal lead, they were 158-1. So, Mark, there are so many things to unpack in this game, from a game that appeared to be over to a game that got close to a game that ended up being an all-timer in overtime. How did Leon Draisaitl once again pull this off?
What special generational players can do, they can make something out of nothing. This was a harmless play when it first started. He was standing still at the blue line, had no momentum, but he's so big, he's so strong, he's able to ward off the checks. A little bit of gratuitous bounce, but that's what great players seem to get. They seem to get good puck luck. And he's so big and strong, like you can see hold off. I think it's Greer right here with one hand, throws it to net, gets a deflection, goes through Bobrovsky's legs. But this is what great players do. And Edmonton finally gave themselves, their great players, between Draisaitl and McDavid, chances to make a difference in the game by staying out of the penalty box. And when in a close game, Edmonton's got as good a chance as anybody, obviously, with those two players on their side.
And I don't think this is hyperbole at all. Edmonton was dead to rights. This thing was cooked. It could have very easily been a 3-1 series, but they stayed in this. What keyed it? How do you stay in it when you're down so quickly in a game like this to key a comeback?
Very simple. They were able to stay out of the penalty box finally, and they were able to give their players a chance to get back into the game, but on the power play themselves. They scored 2 huge power play goals. The one on Bobrovsky that Nurse started over his shoulder, I didn't like that goal on Bobrovsky. But they stayed out of the penalty box. They got their rhythm going. They got skating. And anytime the Oilers are in a tight game late in the game, they got the 2 best players in the game right now.
Yep.
It's going to be a problem for the other team. And sure enough, Draisaitl last night was the one who made the play.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about 2 of the best players in the game when you talk about the tandem. We'll get into McDavid being goalless later in the show, but this tandem has shown up. He's done what he's had to do, and Draisaitl's picked it up. How good is this tandem when you think big picture in the history of maybe a Stanley Cup final?
Well, I think they're probably the 2 best players. They're certainly the 2 best players of their generation right now, and you could stack them up against any great duo that's ever played the game in any era. the skill set, the drive, the determination, the discipline, everything that you'd want in a skilled player on your team. Leadership. They've got a lot of scar tissue on these two players now. They've been through a few wars now. They're not young players anymore.
With a wake-up call. Overtime drama in Florida. Here's Jack Mike.
Breaking free is Draisaitl to the net. Score! Leon Draisaitl has tied the series with his 4th OT winner in the playoffs. Final score, Edmonton 5, Florida 4 in overtime.
Draisaitl made NHL history of his own last night, notched his NHL record 4th overtime game-winning goal in the 2025 postseason, the most ever in the Stanley Cup playoffs. He also set the regular season record with 6 in this postseason. Mark Messier back with you. You were laughing. He said Jack is so good.
He's so good. We're talking about a play-by-play and bringing it to real life. What a voice and what pronunciation, we'll say.
Oh, the energy from him is fantastic.
Incredible.
The energy from the Oilers last night was fantastic. But Connor McDavid still goalless. But if I told you they'd be 2-2 in this series without a Connor McDavid goal, I think they would take that. So what do they need to do to kind of just get him to score something?
Yeah, I think, he's such a preoccupation for Florida right now. Every time he's on the ice there, it's so hard to defend in every area of the ice. He puts so much pressure on the defense. He's penetrating. He's getting all kinds of chances. I don't think it's a problem for Edmonton at this point right now. Obviously, they're 2-2 in the series. He eventually is going to score. There's no question about it. He had all kinds of opportunities last night. He not getting a lot of puck luck right now. But that's why teams that would go on to win the Stanley Cup there have a lot of depth. And the Oilers have shown all playoff long so far that they've got a lot of depth. And Draisaitl was the guy that stood up last night in overtime and made the play. But I keep getting back to it. Teams put great players in position to make great plays. Right. Draisaitl was a guy last night, but don't be surprised when McDavid puts his fingerprints on the score sheet. He already has in different ways on the score sheet, though.
And if he does, I mean, if you're Florida, you're thinking, we've held him scoreless. That's going to be dangerous if he gets going. We saw Draisaitl do it in Game 1. We saw him do it again last night. We talked about the mentality of the Oilers last night from coming back and staying in it and get the win. I want to flip the script for Florida because maybe they let off a little bit. Did they blow a really, really good shot to just get this thing over with and go back-to-back?
They did, and I wouldn't say that they blew it. I thought Pickard came in and played really well. He made a huge save on Lundell. We talked about it earlier. That would have made the game 4-1. That would have put the game out of hand for the Oilers there. But for the Oilers themselves in Florida, when you're up 3-0, the tendency is to sit back a little bit. I didn't really think they sat back. They had all kinds of chances. They didn't get any puck luck after that. If you look at all the chances that Bennett had, Reinhardt had great chances. Up and down the lineup, they had great chances. Pickard played great. They got what they needed from Pickard when he came in relief after the first period. And of course, then the specialty teams took over. And the one over the first goal, I think that really kind of started to turn the tide. The goal over Bobrovsky's shoulder that Nurse scored from a bad angle. He should have had that goal. He would like to have had that one back, but that seemed to kind of get Edmonton's momentum moving.
And you talk about Pickard. When you make a switch like that, sometimes it's just something you have to do to energize your team, and it worked perfectly last night. And look, this is one of those series, if you haven't been watching, you're missing out, but it's tied at 2-2, so you can start over. It's